Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maximo, and I'm here checking out something a little bit special today. I want to thank the dude who was in my update comments for Weekly Update 297 to pointing this out to me, because I didn't even realize this had happened. So, this is the Jak and Daxter collection, something that I really don't like due to its absolutely horrendous performance getting in the way of the actual gameplay. But I've re-downloaded it today because there's actually something special hidden inside it. See, the lovely bastards over at, I don't know if it's the Jak and Daxter Technical Wiki, but that's where I'm looking at this right now, have found that all 4 Jak and Daxter games, from Jak 1 to Jak X, and every version of said games, from PlayStation 2 to PlayStation 3 to PlayStation Vita, have a hidden debug menu. Or debug mode, I should say. Now, this debug mode is actually pretty cool. So, if we pause Jak 3, for example, all 3 of the games actually have relatively similar debug modes, so I'm not going to go too deeply into all 3 of them. I'm just going to do Jak 3's, but if we pause the game or whatever, we can enter this anywhere we like, but we might as well do it here, because it actually lets us demonstrate something. If we hold L3, which is the back left corner of the touchpad on the Vita, and press up, up, down, down, left, right, X, X, square, circle, that's the first part of the code. Then, if we do the same thing, we let go of L3, then we press it again, and we press circle, square, X, X, right, left, down, down, up, up. Now, if we hit unpause, yeah, we've activated the debug mode. So, the debug mode has a few functionalities. Most of them are done via buttons that aren't particularly used in-game, and there are also a few things you can do with the cutscenes, like speed them up and slow them down. So everything is quite ridiculous. So if I just hit the X button to speed it back up to normal, now they've all started talking. Yep, they all sound slowed down. And we can speed them back up too. I'm impressed the cutscenes can run this fast, considering how the technical performance of the games is. Anyway, we're just going to skip the rest of this. I think there's a button to do it, but... There we go, triangle. So, we're just going to go and load my game straight away. There are some other functionalities that can be done in the other games that won't be here, but I'll try and go over them. Notably, there is a secondary controller option that you have, where if you have a second controller plugged into the console versions, you can actually turn... excuse me. You can actually turn on and off some debug text, and in things like this, you can do it, in Jak 3, you can make some inventory items appear, but for the most part, everything that's like gameplay related shows up in the first, everything that's gameplay related shows up in the, first controller's problem, so we'll be fine with this. So, we have a free camera mode, so if we hold down L2 and R2, so if we press all of them at once, we can enter free camera mode, and this actually lets us have a little bit of a look around. The controls are, inverted up and down on the Vita for the camera controls, which is really annoying, but we'll work with it. We can have a good bit of a look around. Bit of a moon out there. Anything interesting around here other than a cliff face? Not really by the looks of it. Could even go inside the cliff face. What have we got in here? Broken geometry and what looks to be the inside of a place. No, that's just down a street, never mind. Yeah, mostly broken geometry. I imagine you could find some interesting stuff if you were doing this on literally every single level, but it appears that for here anyway, there doesn't seem to be much point to doing this. So if we hit the same combination again, which is L1 and R1, plus L2 and R2 on the back of the controller, where they would be in like remote play or whatever, it actually respawns you exactly where you were before. I also activated flight mode by accident, which is just done by pressing R2, and you can fly around however you like by using the L2 and R2 buttons to adjust your height, and everything else is just like running around. You can also restore your health if you run into something and it hurts you by holding down R2, which is the top right of the rear touchpad. Now if we hit the X button, it'll actually drop us out flight mode. That was slightly dumb, but not too big a deal. If only we had something to hurt us nearby, but I haven't played this game in 5 years, and I can actually show you my save time to prove it, but I can't actually connect to the online storage, so never mind. What else we got? So, if we're in the pause menu, we can hold L2 and R1 to actually activate some options. So, actually, I got the wrong one there. So, say, demo missions, and select start. Unfortunately, yeah, there we go. So now I can select anywhere in the game and jump straight to it. The annoying thing seems to be that... Yeah, the annoying thing seems to be that these options don't stay highlighted unless you, what's the word I'm looking for? These options don't stay highlighted unless you keep holding the, stuff down, but we can just, hopefully just hammer the X button and select an option if we want to, which is nice. What else we got? Well, you've already seen the game slowing down. You've already seen the game slowing down and speeding up in the cutscenes. So let's do something a little bit more interesting. Let's flow Jack and Daxter up to the roof, shall we? Put them down about here, I suppose? Grab the precursor orb, because why not? So if we pause the game, we can... Actually, we'll do this mid-jump. So if we pause the game in mid-jump, we hit the R2 button, which is top right corner of the touchpad, it will actually freeze and unfreeze the game for a single frame, which is actually pretty neat. So you can see just how many frames are rendered in one second, because you can go through them one by one and have a look for yourself, which is pretty neat. You can also apparently fly around in whatever the Dark Maker mech is. And there doesn't seem to be much else we can do in Jack 3, except for holding up, holding left, and pressing the select button, which just restarts the game. You can also win minigames immediately, and you can also do other things like that, but that's pretty much it. There might apparently be some other things you can do, because they haven't found all the button things yet. Like, for example, in Jak and Daxter, the Precursor Legacy, you can give yourself any orb you want by just going over it and pressing L1 and R1 when you have, when you're over the specific power cell that you don't have. You can also do things like break the game's, you can do things like break the game's progression by unlocking things that you shouldn't be able to get into. And you've got just other little things like that. Nothing particularly major. It's not like there's an absolutely massive glut of options like there was back on the Solemn Sanctuary debug menu. With that said, though, yeah, that's pretty neat. I figured that was just worth a quick look, because who knows if they're even going to bother to patch the game to actually get rid of all this stuff. But, well, I'm going to guess they're not, but it's there anyway, just in case you were curious. So there you go. This has been Blue Maxima, and I will see you all next time.